The news this week that Pfizer is requesting emergency use authorization for its COVID-19 vaccine in children is sparking debate in some families. Some parents are already on board and will vaccinate their younger children as soon as they can, but others may be feeling a bit apprehensive or perhaps are against the shots altogether. In a recent parent data newsletter, Professor of Economics and Public Policy at Brown University, Emily Oster offers some comprehensive research and data on the topic to help families make their own informed decisions. And Emily joins us now to break down both sides of this debate. I'm really glad that you're here, Emily. I'm a mom. My kid is 10, so she's just underneath, obviously, the 12 age group guideline. And initially, early on, I was very nervous about the prospect of her getting this vaccination. Now, I cannot wait. And I actually know some doctors, and hopefully I'm not telling on them, whose children were under the age of 12 who already got their kids inoculated. They felt like they had a thorough understanding of the vaccine. They felt like their kids, weight-wise, could handle it, and they kind of went ahead. You have said that you are eager to vaccinate your own children. How old are they, and what are your top reasons for feeling that you're ready?
So my kids are 6 and 10, and I am eager to vaccinate them. And I think that there are a few reasons. So one is to prevent them from getting COVID, even though serious illness is very rare. Kids still do get COVID, and I would prefer my kids not get it. I think many of the reasons that I see for vaccination, though, are about protecting elderly or other family members. So my kids have an immune compromised grandparent, and I really do not want them to give her COVID. And so I think for many parents, that piece of it is going to be really important to think, okay, my kid might not get very sick, but what if they pass to somebody else? Even a vaccinated older adult could be at higher risk.
So Emily, I'm curious about what your research has uncovered that you can share with our audience. For example, what in the research has given you a sense of the type of advice that couples or families that disagree on whether or not to get their kids vaccinated should be sort of paying attention to?
So I think one piece of information is people think, okay, well, these are untested. We haven't done them in kids. And it's true that the younger cohort has not come in. But of course, we've been doing vaccines in 12 to 15-year-olds over this last several months and with very, very good safety data. The vaccines for kids are also lower doses. So I think that's something that will make parents feel better. But I also think there's a space here for having a calm conversation and for recognizing that parents, even within the same family, certainly across families, are going to be more and less hesitant about this. And some of this is going to be about having the right conversation with your pediatrician, about talking through, what are your fears? And for some families, about waiting and saying, I don't want to be there on day one, but maybe I'm comfortable being there in 2 weeks if we've sort of seen a bunch of kids do it and seen that it's all gone well. And I think we need to be ready to be patient with people around these choices.
You've done some research when it comes to COVID testing. We know that testing is an important component of getting a handle on this. The Biden administration says they're going to allot $1 billion to getting more home tests out there. I had a really interesting conversation earlier today about the Boston School District, and they are testing kids every week, and it has really proven to be a game changer for them. So, sorry, did I say something wrong? I just hear my producer sort of correcting me. Baltimore, sorry, another B. You're right. Thank you for the correction. The Baltimore School District, and that's proven to be a real game changer in terms of them keeping a cap on COVID outbreaks and cases that are popping up. But I think people are confused by these tests. Some of them work better than others. Can you break down the differences in the type of testing that's available and explain, how they should be used?
Yeah, so there's two broad types of tests. There's PCR tests and there's rapid antigen tests. And I think a simple way to think about them is a PCR test is a way to detect any infection. It's a way to detect if there's any evidence of COVID in your body. Antigen tests, which happen quickly, they can happen in 15 minutes. They're a great use for schools. You can do them at home. Those are detecting contagiousness. So if you said, my goal is to make sure that I don't have people who have high viral loads who are contagious around, that is what's achieved by the antigen tests. And I think we've gotten a little bit lost in our discussion of this, but actually these antigen tests are a really key component to moving forward in the pandemic, in my view, because I think once we have more availability, which we should in the next few weeks, this is something you can have in your house before you visit your family for the holidays. Everybody gets a rapid test. That way we can be more confident that we are not bringing COVID to a family gathering and not bringing it home to our schools. It's also going to be a really important component of keeping schools safe and keeping businesses safe and keeping childcare centers safe and doing all of this stuff once we have more of this, which is why it's good that the administration is pushing in that direction.
The CDC is warning that this could be a very tough flu season. They're urging everyone to get their flu shots, but polls have shown many Americans are going to skip it. Why do you think people are hesitant to get the flu shot when there is a threat of a twindemic this winter?
I don't know. I mean, I think one of the issues is that last year we had almost no flu. So last year we had a very, very limited flu season, partly because a lot of the precautions that we put in place around COVID were actually, if anything, more effective against the flu than they were against COVID. And so things like masking and distancing actually also work for the flu. We're not going to have as much of that this year. And in fact, because we didn't have a bad flu season last year, there's an increased likelihood of having a bad flu season this year. And so if it is really important that people get vaccinated, and I'm not sure how much of the resistance is just a feeling of, well, we didn't get it last year, so we're not going to get it this year. That's not right. I'd like to see better messaging around the actually increased importance of kids in particular, and also older adults and really everybody getting a flu vaccine.
You know, we have conversations about COVID every single day, and I feel like all the information is available to people if they really want it. So I'm sort of curious as to what some of the most common COVID questions are that you get.
So I think almost every question I get is a detailed scenario. So can I do X? Can I take my kid to the playground? There'll be 6 people. There's a slide and it's kind of long, but I'm afraid at the bottom they might. So I get like a lot of really detailed stuff. There's a lot of stuff about travel. Can I go on an airplane? We want to go see our family for this. This is where the airplane is. And I think partly there is so much decision fatigue. We have spent the last year kind of trying to work through every decision like that. And we feel like there's a moment where like, okay, now I could do more, but nothing is 100% safe, you know. And I think many of the questions I get really reflect our need to kind of adapt to a world in which COVID is around, but it is not the most important, most salient risk that we're facing at all times. And that emotional switch is a challenge.
Emily Oster, can I just say, I love your background art. I guess they're the art of your children, your kids' art. I mean, I wish more people would display, you know, now that we're all doing Zooms and we're all like working from home, this is the perfect, you don't just have to show it on the refrigerator anymore. You can show it on live TV
to America here.
To millions of people, which is very, very cool. And so is the research that you've done. Emily Oster, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you so much.